Your old ways are the reason why this business is failing. Alphabets 몰라?
난 몰라.
Then how the hell are you gonna survive here if you don't know your ABCs?
Hello, Charles.
Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you so very much for inviting us. I'm
Oh.
sure other cast members will join you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. How's your day?
Um, it was a busy day. I had a interview earlier with the release date coming up. I guess the publicity department is really connecting with everybody. I guess they sort of like spread all over the country, and whatever agencies or organizations that are responding, they are scheduling it.
Yeah, I love the film, and I belong to a major critics group, and I posted on Facebook in our chats. I'm saying you got to check this film out and get these interviews. It's a wonderful movie, and so you're gonna be pretty busy the next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a good news. I'm not used to it. I'm not getting all this kind of media attention because I think it's first for everybody, because Peter and Julian and also Kat, this is their first feature, and it's indie, and for the actors, both Yoon and Yeena, and it's their first time being lead actors in feature film. So
Well, they're naturals. They're naturals. I mean, I was just everything was wonderful in this film. I love the story and the setting, the culture behind it, and it was really fantastic. I mean, I'm just
it was extremely and ridiculously low budget.
yes.
Yeah, if you look at them carefully, you know how low budget it is. But the way the camera and editing and directing worked, Peter and Julian, they're my fans. I mean, like I am their fans. That's a better way of putting it. It's like they're geniuses. What they could do with the limited budget was simply amazing.
Yeah, because I think it was a story. I mean, you're shooting in front of office buildings and apartments, but you're not paying attention to that. You're paying attention to the characters and what they're saying.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
someone's joining
Yeena
us.
is coming, my daughter character. Only one who didn't diss me in the film. All other characters were against me.
That's true.
Here comes Yeon, my son.
Hello.
Hey Yeon. Hey Yeon, hi Yeena.
Hey.
How are you?
Yeena, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Jeff in Vegas.
Hey, Jeff.
Thank you for joining me today, talking about Happy Cleaners. I got the whole cast here. I just adore this film. I was just talking to Charles about it before you came on. It's just wonderful. Just absolutely adore this film. So congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I wish we could have Hyang-hwa included, but Hyang-hwa is in Korea, and time difference and all that is very difficult to organize it. She has a full life over there as well, but
well, she's here in spirit. So
yes.
Well, Yeon, let's start with you. Kevin has his own dream to be a chef. His future lies in LA, but he's torn between his dream and his family.
Yes. Well, he is torn between his dream and family, but this is the thing that I had to really work on before we shot this. It's people may see the character as he's trying to escape from his family, but really the core intention of that is he loves his family to death. He doesn't want to see his family suffer anymore. So I had despite his very arrogant behavior, I had to really work on that core intention, which is love.
And Yeena, how is her relationship with her mother?
It's complicated, underneath all of that, the tensions that they have. I think just like what Yoon said, all of it, there's love behind it all. I mean, I think this happens between Korean moms and Korean daughters. I've had this with my mom as well. It's like when you meet a guy, and for moms, it's like have a different kind of standards for their daughter. For sons, it's a little different, but I think especially for daughters, they have this thing. It's like, I don't want you to have the negatives that I have experienced. I don't want you to experience it. And that's what basically happens between Hyunhee and her mom. She doesn't want Hyunhee to suffer financially, but she's with a guy where she thinks is not qualified to meet with her daughter, right? So there's that tension. And it's like sometimes it's a little bit complicated because like if you love your daughter like as the mother, right? You should let her do whatever you want. Like you should respect that she's in love and she needs to be with this person, then fine. But I think it's this she crosses the line a little bit because she loves Hyunhee so much. And like I think when I was playing Hyunhee, like I felt that, but also it's just like, but I love this dude. Why can't you just respect me for that? And yeah, it's a little complicated.
And Charles, make no mistake, the wife runs the household, doesn't she?
Of course. I mean, that's very true to a Korean situation. Yes, from a Western feminist perspectives, I mean, Yeena and I talk about this, right? From Western feminist perspective, women are oppressed, women are, it's a patriarchal society and all those things. Yes, and there's a lot of things we got to do to make sure that the Korea and also Korean American community becomes, we achieve gender equality. Yes, all for that. But at the same time, Korea traditionally has very strong women's position, unlike any other countries. For example, women don't change their maiden name when they get married. The mother, especially, the mother or wife actually rules the family. And you notice that in the film,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did. She controlled every aspect of it. She was like, I don't want to say she was nosy, but she was just had to know everything that was going on. She had an opinion about anything. And when she was done speaking, that was it. She would walk away.
Right.
So,
I mean, so there's a strong matriarchal family structure that is superimposed with the outer shell, which is patriarchal. So it's a very interesting, complicated situation.
yeah, and your family dinners, man, they were never a dull moment, were they? I was just like, it was like you sit down, it's just like, it was just crazy. I mean, you couldn't have a peaceful meal in that household.
Never.
Well, there's a little hint for at the last dance, right?
Yes, that's the final scene. There was serenity.
Well, we never know what happened after that dinner.
Right.
That's true. And this movie was like a Korean Goodfellas. I mean, do not watch this movie on an empty stomach. I mean, there was just food front and center constantly. I was sitting there calling up my friends. I go, we gotta go to Chinatown. I need some Korean town, or we need some food because it looked spectacular. It's so delicious.
I mean, food is such an important element in like the way you communicate to one another in Korean culture. Like sometimes, like everything starts with like, have you eaten something? Like, have you eaten rice? And that's just a way of saying, are you okay? How was your day? It all starts from like, what have you eaten?
Because even Kevin's dad said when they were sitting, have you been eating? I mean, it's just there's food is always a constant theme. There's rice. I mentioned at least 10 times. I counted. And Yeon, how would you describe your brother-sister relationship in the movie? No pressure.
I don't know, man. I definitely feel bad for her being, very supportive to the family, try to work as a nurse and, paying the bills. But
there's love, absolute love there.
There is love, yeah. Never really
no
got
jealousy.
Sorry, Yeena.
Oh, no. You're Kevin wants
not really.
He wants to leave, and she doesn't seem to be against his dreams, at all. So she's very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, she was.
From a mother's perspective, they are good.
Oh no. Well, that's what I was. I interviewed some Korean actors a few months ago for a project, and they told me that it was tradition that the parents would choose, their children's occupation. Like in Happy Cleaners, she wants you to be a doctor, but this next generation, as you guys play in the movie, they have their own ideas, which disrupts tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was very progressive, but also it hurts the tradition in the family. So that was front and center in this movie. Right?
Sure that.
Yeah, okay.
It is one of the elements. I don't know whether it is the element, but
right.
Just like family is a complicated story, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, family drama. And, this reminds me of a Korean version of Spanglish, because is that something the younger generation does because they speak English and Korean? They mix it constantly in the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do the same thing. I feel most comfortable when I mix Korean and English together because there are some words that you could express in Korean that just make sense to you, and then there are some things that I feel comfortable speaking in English, and then you just combine them together, and then it's like perfect. I feel good.
And we
But then
call
you
it
can't say,
Konglish.
yeah,
Yeah.
Konglish.
Konglish?
Konglish, yeah, like a
Yes.
Yes.
Spanglish, Konglish.
Yeah.
Konglish. Charles, we got to talk about the scene where you slapped Kevin. Did you really let him have it? You know, how did you arrange that scene?
Which scene?
Where you slapped Kevin in
Oh,
the kitchen?
is that like a spoiler?
Well, how Kevin, did he really crack you across the face? How many times did you have to do that scene?
Yes, he really hit me for
Actually,
real.
I wanted to do it without actually hitting him, and it was Yoon who said, "At least once though, you gotta hit me." And I felt so bad, and so once it was done, I had to ask him, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm alright." Just walked away. I wasn't sure whether he was upset or not. But yeah,
I
that was,
remember him feeling. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
I'm done. Yoon, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember him feeling so bad about it, and I was like, "Just Charles, just hit me, right?" But like he was so like he didn't want to hit me. So I remember the first take he hit me in my ear,
Oh,
and that hurt really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we had like at least 5 takes. That I remember that
Yeah,
particularly.
yeah.
and one thing I noticed in this movie was there was no sense of physical affection, especially, Yeena, when your mother opens up at the end, when she finally breaks down and says how much you mean to her. No hug at the end. I'm waiting for you to turn around and embrace her. You talk about salty pickles, and then it fades out. So
Yeah.
I was like, why don't you hug her? I did
Yeah.
it for you. I reached through and I hugged her.
I think the reason behind that is that a lot of Korean parents don't express verbally and physically. And that's something that carried through the character. Like the whole time while I was acting, like I just want to turn around and look at her. But it was this feeling of like she did so much to me and she's apologizing to me. I can't bear to look at her. I want to hug her so bad. Like the desire to hug her and to take care of her and like to make her happy is all in there, but it's just like so internal, like so deep. Like I don't even want her to see me cry. Like, and I think that's why Korean people have to communicate through food. That's like the way in,
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
it's like slightly embarrassing.
And also, I love the grandma in this movie. No matter what culture you are, I mean, grandmothers are grandmothers, huh? I mean, she just was so precious.
Oh yeah, she's so cute.
She
But
was.
Jeffrey, if I want to add, yes, it is true that traditional Korean families do not express love through physical touch and actually saying "I love you," but throughout the whole movie, there's certain gestures everybody is doing to say "I love you," certain giving, certain slight gestures. Not just mentioning about food, that's definitely for sure. And food is a means of saying I love you.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. When Kevin comes to his mother, she's combing her hair, and he gives her $300 or $400. This is to be spent on you, not on bills, not anything else.
yeah.
And and then when he left, she had this moment where you could see she puts it in her purse, but she looks in the mirror and just has this sense of, I love him. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great scene. That was a great scene. And finally, tell me about what it's like working with two directors. That's kind of unusual, isn't it?
It is unusual.
It went by pretty smoothly, to be honest. It wasn't like they were giving me two different directions. I feel like they communicated something, and one of them would come up to us and then talk to us. At least that was my experience. How was it for you guys?
Yeah,
So they pretty
even
much
though
talked between themselves, or what were their strengths then? Or how does that work for two directors?
they actually had two different roles as directors. Peter was being more like technical, to actors, and Julian was giving us more like emotional directions.
Oh, that's a very, very good point. Julian, who also edits, has that brain. As he shoots, he's already slicing it and pasting it, right? So when he directs, the plot moves. When Peter directs, emotional arc is established, and he's superb in guiding us in doing that. Um, some of my scenes I felt in the beginning I was getting two different directions. But once I noticed that they were emphasizing two different sides of the same thing they wanted, I always try to, combine it and see whether I could fulfill both of them simultaneously. And it only stretched my acting, and I thought the result is much better that way.
Well, thank you all for joining me today. What a wonderful film. I absolutely adore it. And I'm flattered that you joined me today to talk about Happy Cleaners. And I wish you all the best of luck with the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And keep promoting our films.